what I would say is I would take the same lens that I look at a country and look at an organized religion that may be very dogmatic or very rigid or very proselytizing, and you sort of have to believe a certain way and behave a certain way, or honor a certain person or whatever it is, that we bring our psychology wherever we go. So if I'm someone who's really unhealed and I've become very passive and submissive, I may be very or easily influenced, or, another example of an outcome from abuse and neglect is that people are not allowed to listen to their intuition. And, when we were talking earlier about how do you choose a therapist, definitely listen to your own intuition. Is this person a good fit for me? Do I feel seen? Do I feel heard? Do I feel honored? Do I feel like my process, is something that this person can hold? Um, when you're in an abusive situation, whether it's a family or a religious organization or a business organization or under the thumb of an abusive government, you can't really safely listen to your own intuition. So if your intuition is telling you to leave, and you can't because there's either social pressure or the pressure from your parents or pressure that you're going to be, go to hell or whatever you're being told, that you may not be able to listen to your own intuition and go to safety, because that's exactly what an abusive organization or system doesn't want. It doesn't want you to think for yourself. It doesn't want you to call out injustice or question authority or question the hierarchy. So what I have found, and I when I was younger, I was in a couple of different spiritual groups. They weren't exactly religions, but they were spiritual groups that had a practice and had a mindset, and they weren't, horribly deleterious in any way. But what I did see was that people brought their wounds and acted them out on each other there just as much as they did in their own lives. So people who were dominating and wanted to be in control inevitably got themselves into position of power where they could dominate other people. And people who were very timid and shy were easily dominated and felt shame about themselves and felt like they weren't good enough and were all trying to please or trying to do it better. So basically, we act our stuff out wherever we go. And that's why in the focus of my book is that it's our mental health that's really at the root of our problems, whether it's in a church or a country or a community, or it can be gender. What we've been taught to believe about ourselves and how we've been taught to behave has everything to do with how we will function in a church or a government or a home, or a community. And so bottom line is, what I would say is, people who are loved, who are respected, who are treated well, even if there's conflict, that there's a commitment to peaceful conflict resolution without, you know, um, abusing anyone or ostracizing someone because they have a different point of view. People who are brought up relatively in a relatively healthy, loving, caring, respectful, good boundaried home. And again, none of us do that perfectly. We're all human and we make mistakes. Um, don't want to dominate other people that way. They don't want to, ostracize people as sinners, or, or torture them or kill them or, harm them. Mentally healthy people do not abuse other individuals. And no matter what your political party is, or your race, or your gender, or your economic class, if you have been loved and cared for, and you have been taught to respect other human beings and respect yourself, the tendency is that you won't go out into the world and harm other human beings for any reason. Obviously, if there's overt self-defense, sometimes you have to do that. And sometimes there's a real need to powerfully stand up for yourself and your beliefs and your values. But that's different than attacking other people because you disagree.